Techies and techettes, it is now time for me to finally get this 455 driver out. It's been almost a week since it's been out there. We'll be looking at the patch notes and what has been revolving around that, on top of some benchmarks that I came into which were really surprising. One of the best highlights was the ray tracing inside of this. It was actually, well, pretty night and day effect, as you can kind of see the chart that's hovering over there with Sonic. But let's go ahead and jump into it. My name is Mac here, the MacGyver7 channel, and today we're going to be doing some Nvidia game ready driver related news in the 457.30 variation. So let's go ahead and dive into it, shall we? Now, for most news to the network, you're going to have this directly tethered to the bottom. If you want to go ahead and look at the technical notes, the ones I like to go over personally myself are directly from Reddit. They tend to optimize the best portions. So let's go ahead and take a look a little bit closer in our pure overlay. So you can see that what is basically going to fix is going to be the SLI for the Black Desert, which is really interesting that they're still keeping the SLI alive. Well, with their 3090 promise to actually have that NVLink actually work, so who knows? But one of the more important things we can kind of see is that there's a Warzone fix for the RTX 30, as mentioned before. There are going to be some bugs, just the single player cards that they're trying to just perfect, which is pretty cool. Notebooks also have the internal panel flashing for as far as the resuming inside of sleep mode of the display. On top of that, Ampere in the structure, the G-Sync HDR dual 8K display to screens goes completely black. As we can kind of scroll down, we can see there's a lot of open issues that I'll have tethered down below, from Windows 10 all the way down to like Windows 7. No more. Doesn't seem like they're really messing with it too much. They've kind of finished that off. But there are some workarounds that are on top of there if you're utilizing the G-Sync and the high refresh rate. There's portions for the GPU power consumption increase in order to make that idle. On top of that, where there are some portions where the workarounds are just the global settings and opening the Nvidia control panel. So if some of these are your afflictions, definitely check this out. But let's go ahead and take a look at some benchmarks. I feel like that might be the more funner portion to see how good this driver matched up compared to the last one. With all the Windows mumbo jumbo, now I'm rocking the November update of the 20.h2, which is not too bad. I actually like it. That the series of drivers, it was rough to start. It wasn't as bad as the install for the very first few drivers I was trying out with Windows, but so far so good. Let's go ahead and take a peek, and since we're already on Port Royale, let's go ahead and start with ray tracing to knock it out of the park. Taking a look at ray tracing, we'll see that the new driver completely slaughters night and day the old driver, and this is where we're going to see a lot of the optimal performance. So the ray tracing tensor cores are going to be firing off at a better, and it quite frankly looks a lot better than what it used to do. The gloss rate and the reflections are just really good. Now, hardware accelerator off and on, it definitely does seem like with the older driver it was king with the hardware accelerator on, and it is definitely not, by a few points, not too bad if you're going to toggle it off and on. And you'll see exactly what I mean as we take a look at DirectX 11. And you can see that, well, you're probably going to be taking some FPS hits this round. For as far as drivers, it's not looking pretty good. Though the hardware accelerator will at least get you back to the last standard in that situation, but continues as we go past the 1080p and push a little bit more towards the overclocking portions of 1080p and pushing that boundary for more high quality. As you can see, the hardware accelerator on completely killed it last time. Old driver, pretty decent. New driver, not so good. Unfortunately, when we look at the situation, at least you can kind of meet about halfway with the portions of not utilizing the accelerated GPU scheduling by Windows. But when you go down to Ultra, you can see that the trend continues, but it keeps going off with hardware accelerator on and off, on and off. Personally, my suggestion to everyone is just keep it off. It seems like Windows will probably do another update. Once they do another circumvent, at that point in time, it should be pretty much more optimized. It seems like one driver behind is always optimized for the next driver that's on the horizon. It's confusing, but your boy Max got you. Let's go ahead and look at some DirectX 12, and we can finalize this patch note, finally, a week late. But I got you guys and gals, because you count. Fresh out the gate, just that 1080p, it's not too good. So you can kind of see that this driver, in my opinion, it's not the best in the world. So you randomly get to 4K DirectX 12 and you want to just be all Port Royale, as you can kind of see up there. So my suggestion to everyone is if you took a reduction inside of FPS, you can always go back if you're rocking those points. Now, if you're on a certain game optimizations, like you have something you really want to play and they just rolled out the fix for it instead of this, then you're going to have to unfortunately stomach this and try to adjust your video card in order to do so. But if you're new to the network, you can always like, share, and subscribe. brand new. Cheers. Appreciate that, everyone. And all the community members, I also appreciate you too for staying, well, just tuned for this episode, because I feel like this was a little way past due. Now I'm going to be off to do some AMD news so I can at least be current, and then it's back to PlayStation 5 news, and then my life's just so interesting. So you should totally subscribe and find out what's next. I'll see you guys and gals in the near future. Stay safe, stay classy, and I will be more prompt next time. Yes, the day of, or at least the day after, not like a week late. It's bad. At least not my timing. I don't like that. I like to be like, you know, Barry Allen fast. But later, everyone. Oh, by the way, I have curiosity if anyone's still listening on the situation at the very end, which I hope there are. What's your favorite superhero? Put it down in the comments down below. I'm very interested to hear what my tech community has to say. Yeah, nerd out on that one. Later.